Hi, John and Jane. Again, I want to thank you for letting me come over to your home and giving me the opportunity to explain to you why I think myself and Remax is the best partner for you to get your home sold. I just want to tell you a little bit about Remax. So, we've been in business for over 40 years and have had ridiculous results. We're one of the biggest worldwide real estate companies, and we're one of the most productive and not just the biggest. We're privately held. We're based in Denver. We build a lot of our foundation, our customer service, experience, and education. We make great things happen and have made great things happen over the past 40 years. Remax is a great company. I had many choices of other brokers to join when I started my real estate career, and I chose Remax based on their ability and their history of being a great organization to be a part of. Now, I actually worked for Remax Fine Properties. We sold $600 million in property in 2014, and we have over 150 agents doing that. There's only one other Remax brokerage in the world that's bigger than us, and it's actually in Dublin. We're the biggest, most influential in the Valley here in Phoenix. There's 64 Remax brokerages, and we're one of those 64. And we're required to treat all other agents' listings as our own. So you're not just getting me, you're getting the other 149 agents actively trying to sell your home. So, why would you hire me? I know how to find buyers. I market through all mediums, both digital and physical, and we'll see some of that later on as we go through this presentation. I have relationships with, obviously, the 150 agents in my brokerage, as well as many others in the Valley here. Doesn't matter if they're with Keller Williams, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's. We're all friends, and they come to my broker's opens, I go to theirs. And, I'm able to leverage myself in the community to get homes sold. And also my negotiation skills. In a previous life, before I was a real estate agent, I negotiated many products during product launches with many other vendors. And that's one thing I pride myself in, is being able to know what I have that's of value and how to negotiate the highest money for that value in any situation. So why Remax? Not just because of the other things we listed before in the other slide, but we're the most recognized brand in real estate. And the reason why that is we're in 93 countries, and we spend the most money marketing property in our brand name than any other real estate company. We actually sell a home every 38 seconds. So here's how we stack up, and I'm not going to bore you with all the statistics here, but our brand awareness reaches 28.1% of Americans. We're in 97 countries. We have almost 6,500 offices worldwide. And actually, this slide is a little dated because just 3 weeks ago, we actually had 100,000 agents worldwide. So very impressive milestone for us. So the most advertised brand in real estate. So we have 3.7 billion customer impressions, providing exposure to millions of potential buyers for your home. And we spend over $42 million in national advertising. So if you watched the Cubs game last week, you would have seen Remax in the backstop. We spend a lot of money marketing, not just for our brand name, but so we attract buyers for the properties that we sell. So the luxury buyer has emerged. So what other agents don't know that I do and what Remax knows is that the luxury buyer might not be down the street. They might actually come from other countries, and these are where the top 5 affluent buyers come from in the world. Russia's being number 1 right now in our area, followed by China, Britain, France, and then lastly is America for the top 5 buyers. So growing wealth in emerging economies will lead to future housing growth. We saw the big boom with Canada back in the early 2000s before the decline. That's back. And our most important buyers over the next few years are going to be China, Russia, the Middle East, and also Latin America. So knowing that, and Remax has the reach in 93 countries, we're able to leverage our brand and our listings to expand, not down the block from you, not the next city, not even the next state, but also the next country away to advertise your property. So more global connections than any other brand. So again, this is kind of just an infographic to show all the countries you represent in the world. And like I said, there's over 93, and that's we're trying to sell properties not just in the U.S. but also in Australia, or trying to sell properties in the U.S. to Australians, and it goes back and forth. So let's bring this back down to earth a little bit and get in the neighborhood. So our monthly sales We're 6,495. That's up 8% year over year, but 30.2% month over month. This is one of the best times for you to sell your home. As you can see, we're basically on just a major rise right now in sales. The new inventory, obviously you can tell by this, is declining. We're down a little under 6% year over year, but we're down almost 24% month over month. There's not a lot of selection out there for buyers, meaning if you're getting ready to list your home, this is the perfect storm for you. Now, monthly supply of inventory, again, that is dipped. We were at 5.5 months of inventory. Now we're down to a little over 3.5. So you can see it almost got chopped in half there. So again, that's just kind of showing what's available and what kind of demand we're seeing out there. So our average days on market, I've kind of expanded a little bit. And the reason why that is in my opinion, last year it was 72. This year it's 88. People just aren't as quick to the draw as they used to be. And there was a little bit more inventory out there this year that moved just a little bit slower. But again, that's under 3 months, so we're still moving fairly quickly. So let's talk a little bit about fair market value. Any type of property, when you're thinking about selling it, has a fair market value. The value of a home in a nutshell is what somebody's willing to pay for it, not what you or I think should be paid for the property, unfortunately. So the value of your home is based on the location, the condition, the buyer demand, which we just talked about, seller motivation, which is you and how badly you want to sell your house and how quickly, prices of similar properties or what we call comparables, recent sales of comparative properties, again comparables, and the availability of financing. If we can get people financed, then people buy houses faster or bigger depending on the availability of that money. So the key factors to remember in a nutshell, what's going to affect your home? It's going to be the price, the terms, condition, the marketing, and the value. That's what's going to decide if and how much your home gets sold for. So let's talk a little about the window of opportunity. So we talk about a property being hot on the market or stale. This kind of shows a graphic of what I mean by that. So the first 4 weeks, the property kind of reaches its peak of interest. And if it's priced right, you should start seeing offers around that time, that 4 to 6 week period. If you have a little bit of wherewithal and you want a little bit higher price for the home, that's fine. You can wait it out longer, but you're just looking at a longer sales cycle for that. But this obviously just kind of tells you what the window of opportunity is. A lot of times sellers want to make the mistake of overpricing the home to begin with. So we can always drop. Unfortunately, once the home stays on the market for too long, people might get a stigma about the property, thinking, oh, it's been on too long, something might be wrong with it. They're not flexible sellers. So we're going to make sure we leverage that window of opportunity and be priced right to sell as quickly as possible. So let's talk about pricing. So we kind of touched on it a little bit in the window of opportunity, but basically you want to be priced right to get sold in the right type of listing period. So we have a pyramid to the side that says the asking price and how many prospective buyers. If you get to market value, 60% of the buyers will bite. Under market value, 75, even further under market value, 90. But even if you're 10% over market value, you're only going to attract 30% of prospective buyers. Those aren't buyers; those are prospective buyers. So you want to be priced correctly to get the most for your property in a reasonable amount of time. So let's talk about the marketing and branding essentials. So I know I'm not the only person you're going to have in here giving you a listing presentation for your home, but I do want to cover the basics of what, basic offering that I'm going to give you as well as most people are going to give. So obviously you'll have a yard sign. I have, obviously a very nice yard sign professional company that comes out, sets the post, so it'll be done correctly. I love to do open houses. I think it's the best way to bring people through a home. A lot of times when you have an open house, or you have one a week or two a week, the people tend to come to the open house as opposed to inconveniencing you during the week for a showing. So it can have a little bit of benefit there. It's kind of a forced showing on the weekends. We do property brochures and postcards for the community to get the word out that the house is for sale. And then we also do broker tours. So about 2-3 weeks in, after we hit kind of people, the time when people are aware the house is on the property, I like to bring in other realtors from the area and kind of give them the rundown, give them the tour, because obviously I'm going to know how to sell the property with all the features and upgrades, and I want to let them know about all the features and upgrades, so when they bring somebody, one of their clients in to view the property, that they know exactly how to sell it and not just, let them walk through the house and then not be able to sell it for you. So broker tours are very important to the sale of a home. So let's talk about exposure. So that's the basic exposure. Let's talk about how RE/MAX gives you more exposure. So we have 52 million total visits a year on our website, which your home will also be featured on. So that's more than obviously any of these other brands out there. And the reason why is one, we're the most recognized brand, and we also spend that $42 million a year I told you about exposing your property to buyers at RE/MAX.com. So now let's talk about the maximum exposure. So that's a little bit, that's the high levels at 52 million clicks per year. But we have individual sites, we have mobile sites, we have luxury sites, we have tablet sites. We have all these places where people can find your home. And that's really what it comes down to is how much can I expose this home to how many people the fastest so we can get it sold and sold at the highest price. So that's really what it comes down to. You're also going to be on all these sites. I personally feature my sales on Trulia. That's where a lot of buyers go to look at the properties. So when they do a search, yours will come up first. I pay for that feature. You'll obviously be on the MLS. You'll obviously be on Zillow, Yahoo Real Estate, RE/MAX.com like we just talked about, HomeFinder.com, which is an emerging site, which is great, HGTV, Homes.com, and Realtor.com. Be on all these sites and hundreds more. The reason why I would be on hundreds more is everybody picks up the MLS, usually for their sites that will get your home automatically. Some of these sites you have to load them in, which I'll do that for you. So let's talk about, these are things that kind of happen automatically, and this is kind of the boilerplate stuff that people give. I like to provide more service for my clients. One, because it helps us move the house faster. And two, it helps us move it at a higher price. The reason why is I'm going to get the first impression off on the right foot by offering a few other services. So I offer professional photography, and it's a must to promote the beautiful and unique aspects of your home. The reason why I say that is 9 out of 10 buyers start their house hunting online, and what they're going to look at, they're going to look at pictures. If your pictures aren't great, they're not going to want a showing, and they're not going to care. So we got to give you the best possible advantage by getting professional photography done. And when I say professional photography, that's not me with an expensive camera. That's an actual photographer that's going to come by, we'll set the appointment, they come in, they make sure the lighting's right, and they take the best possible pictures of your home. Agents do their own photos. In my opinion, they're cheap. I'm not trying to put them down, but they're only concerned about their money and not selling your home. I don't spare any expense when it comes to it because I know what a difference it makes when people look online. Professional staging consultation. So I offer staging from an interior designer. It's actually featured in Houzz, Houzz, which is a very prominent site on the best interiors that you can find in the nation. She uses your existing furniture and decor to appeal to the masses, the buyers that are out today, and what they're looking for in a home. And the placement and arrangement of the furniture can help set your home apart from the rest. So this is something that hardly anybody offers. I believe in it 100% because I know what a difference it makes when somebody walks into a room and it's set up the way that maybe they see on HGTV or things they're seeing in the media that's very modern or contemporary, up-to-date stuff that they can basically see themselves living in or want to be living in. So I don't spare any expense. I pay for that. I pay for the photography. I pay for the staging. And this is all to move your home faster and at the highest possible price. I also do text marketing. So you also see on your sign it'll say text home to XYZ numbers. And the reason why I do that is that basically they text it, and then it comes across my phone that somebody asked for information, and it gives them a website that shows the price and the pictures of the house, but it allows me to be very proactive and set up a showing. I call them or text them back immediately saying, hey, my name's Nick, I'm listing this property, it looks like you wanted more information. If you'd like to see it, let's set up a showing tomorrow. If they tell me I have an agent, I say that's great. I'll meet them there with their agent, and let's get you inside the house so they can see the house as soon as possible. I try to be just as aggressive as bringing buyers to the home as I am selling the home online or digitally. I have a great work ethic when it comes to getting down to the ground level and pulling people through the home to get it sold as quick as possible. And text marketing is one of the better ways to do that. So let's talk about some of your responsibility with presenting your home. So first impressions are going to be crucial. We want to decorate for a quick sale, and that's why I bring in the interior designer for a consultation. We want to let the sun shine in, so I'm going to tell you before she tells you, make sure you have the screens off the windows, make sure the windows are clean. We're going to bring in the brightest light in for the photographer to get the best possible pictures. And again, say fix that faucet. So that's just, if you have any nagging repairs that need to be done in the house, just make sure all the handyman work gets done. You don't want a prospective buyer to point it out. Buyers are very critical about homes. Sometimes I think that they think every house is supposed to be new when they buy it, but we just want to kind of nip that in the bud before it starts and make sure any blatant maintenance that needs to be done is taken care of. So, like I said, repairs do make a difference. Let's make sure all repairs get done, and basically value from top to bottom. So, display the full value of your garage, storerooms, and other utility space by removing all unnecessary articles. Brighten dark and dull rooms by painting walls. If you have a blue or purple room for the kids, let's make sure we get back to a neutral color. It's amazing how people don't understand, buyers don't understand when they bring in it's just paint. So we kind of have to go take that step for them. Make closets look bigger, make sure they're organized. Bathrooms help sell homes. Make sure we have any repair that needs to be done. Make sure it's super clean. Make sure everything sparkles. And arrange rooms neatly. So if we're going to be moving, you're going to be selling your house, and we're going to be moving into another house, let's go ahead and start packing some stuff up. Living on the bare essentials and make that house look staged as opposed to being lived in by somebody. It'll make a huge difference. So now we come to the end. I want to talk about fair market value for your house. So we talked a little bit about what determines that. I'm going to give you what the comps are for the home, what the sales in the area kind of dictate the home will be around for the value. And I also want to bring in some consumer sites such as Zillow. You're probably familiar with Zillow, which is a consumer site, and also Redfin, which is also a consumer site. And the reason why I bring these in is they have algorithms, and they're not the end-all be-all. A lot of times they're not even close to being accurate, but unfortunately it's where the consumer goes to see what the values are and search their price range. If they search a price range, the asking price is going to be on there, and then it's going to have their estimated price. So I'm going to bring these into the equation here. So basically the suggested selling price based on comps and the tax records for your home is going to be $431,552. Zillow says it's worth, in its opinion, $415,587. And then Redfin says, based on the other properties around, in its opinion, it's worth $430,000. So basically what we can take away from this is if you decide to list your home with me, we're going to take all these numbers into consideration, and we're going to come up with a price that both meets your goals of selling the house and in what time frame and what you need to get out of the home as far as money, and then we'll land on a number that we think is fair based on the finishes and condition, everything we talked about before, and then we'll go to market at that price. I always like to work with my clients on the price of their home based on their goals, because there's a lot of different situations why people sell homes. They have to move due to a job, or they don't have to move. They just think it's a good market and they have a great home, so they charge a little bit more and they have all the time in the world. So again, it's everybody has different motivations and prices for selling their home. We just have to make sure we stay within the realm of reality, because at the end of the day, the house has to appraise if it's not a cash sale. So we have to stay within, the inbounds when it comes to that. I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this preview of the marketing services I can offer for your property. I would love to help you sell your home. Again, I'm not in the business of listing property. I'm in the business of selling it. So obviously you have my card. That's how, how I got here today. But I want you to call, text, or email me at any time. If I'm not the only realtor you're interviewing, I'd like to get a time or date to follow up so we can make sure that we're on the same page. We can get your house listed and sold as soon as possible, and I can get my interior designer lined up, my photographer lined up, and get all those resources lined up to get your home on the market and sold as soon as possible. So I'd like to thank you for the time today. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I hear from you soon on getting your home listed.